In what ways does your media product use, develop, or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? My magazine uses, develops, and challenges forms and conventions of real media products in many ways, from my front cover to my double-page spread. The masthead on my front cover uses the same conventions that the fly uses. The masthead is hidden behind the cover artist so that the page looks established, as well as ensuring that the cover artist stands out from the cover lines. I wanted to choose this approach because of how professional it would look, as well as the masthead would already have attracted attention against the black background. In terms of standing out, my masthead developed those of what I analysed from my research I did a while ago. When it came to looking at real media products, I wanted to create my own colour scheme that was unique. This led me to adjusting my colour scheme to my genre of indie so that everything would link in with each other, avoiding a magazine with mismatched pages. However, because I had a black background, I thought the use of white would stand out much more clearly and make the photography, as well as the text itself, look like that of a real media product. I thought the use of pale colours would really help the genre of indie seep through the cover and really connect with the readers. That's why I believe that the colours white, lilac and pastel pink would work best. Although you could say these are fairly feministic colours, they do help the magazine look more like a real media product, as well as matching the cover artist's style and music. In terms of layout, my cover lines were divided onto the two sides of the page. I tried to limit the amount of block text I would use, as I didn't think it would match my music genre, as well as looking too clustered. In this way, I challenged that of NME as they placed cover lines and images all over the page. Although they still maintained the focus on the main image, I thought that in order to create a magazine that would appeal to that of my target audience, I would have to make the text clearly visible to read, as well as staying enigmatic. This is when I decided to develop the cover lines shown in the fly. Their cover lines were placed around the artist himself so that he would stand out, as well as using bright, brash colours that would help support the text too. By using this technique and adding a second column on the other side of the page, I had to fill in the dead space that was situated at the bottom of the page. This is when I decided to place the barcode along with the price, website and issue number. I don't think that using an issue number is conventional, but I chose to use it anyway, as I wanted my magazine to challenge real conventional magazines. The main image in itself develops that of a real media product. Both Q and NME used a plain background, ensuring that the cover artist stood out and made the whole cover look much more appealing to the audience. The mise-en-scène was fairly similar in terms of lighting with conventional magazines, as it was quite low-key. I also noticed that the mid-shot I used for my magazine matched that of Q and NME again. Using their technique in using this camera shot really helped show the link between indie, as we could see her clothing that would symbolise her music as a whole. The same house style used in the front cover followed through to my contents page. I thought the typical use of a plain white background really made the page look simple and yet hold a sense of creativity to it. I used the idea of using images as page references as opposed to that of just block text that would essentially bore the reader and find the page hard to look for. This is when I developed that of the magazines I had analysed and chose to add my own spin on it. Linking the page back to my questionnaire, most of my results lead towards a feature of gigs which were fairly popular. The use of a gig guide is fairly unconventional and is often found in the back few pages. My decision was to replace the conventional subscription box with that of a gig guide. I believed it would help create a different and unique magazine that held all the important and necessary information that the reader would want to see when buying a music magazine. While being jumbled up with other texts, I decided to enlarge the font and place it between two images. This helped a lot, as it was at the centre of the page to stand out, as well as to avoid dead space. The columns did match those of conventional magazines, as it is the typical way readers can find their information quicker. By using lines, I separated the images and the text so that they were more friendly to the eye and reduced the look of a messy contents page, while also conforming to a real media product by using a bold black sans serif font for the masthead, so that it would engage the readers. The double-page spread I completed was the strongest out of the 3 pages in terms of challenging the real media products that exist today. Replacing the norm of having a white background, I chose to use black. This helps my magazine best relate to the genre of indie and also keep the readers more engaged with what they're seeing. I applied my own style and created a background out of an image I had edited on Photoshop too. Although it was risky and did shy away from that of a real media product, I thought it would open a whole new idea to the genre of indie and maybe turn my audience into becoming weekly readers of Sync. I completely ignored developing or even using the double-page spread of Q, as it didn't really link in with my particular image of how my pages would link in with each other. I also didn't think the layout would help the genre of indie shine out from the 2 pages. This is why I believed that using and developing some aspects from Enemy and The Fly would help me create something that was completely individual, as well as being an interesting page to come across. I believed that the research of the magazines Enemy, The Fly and Q were useful in terms of creating guidelines to follow to ensure my magazine correlates to that of a real media product.